And yes, I got Laurence Collins here. Let's go, man. Thank you so much for being patient. And I think you're a good omen for me as a Broncos fan because the Chiefs are down. What's going on, Lawrence?
What is going on? David Talks Buffs. How we doing
Man,
tonight?
it's great to hear from you, man. What's on your mind?
What is on my mind tonight? Well, I just so happen to be a resident of Belleville, Michigan.
No way.
And there is a visit coming from a quarterback that plays high school football here in Belleville, Michigan. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh my God, man. Tell me everything about Bryce Underwood. Tell me everything about the program. Have you been able to go to any of the games?
So, yes, I have seen Bryce Underwood play in person. I did see Bryce Underwood play in a 7-on-7 hosted at University of Michigan just a couple months ago, and he is as advertised. 6'3" and a half, close to 6'4", about 210, 215, cannon arm, pinpoint accuracy, and he's also a good athlete. He can run it as well. He can pull it down and run it if he has to. So he's turned Belleville here in Michigan to a powerhouse. They went undefeated last year, pretty much wiped the floor with all their competition and won a state title, and they're the favorites to repeat as a state title, primarily because of him. So, yeah, that's what I'll say about Bryce Underwood. He is the real deal. Had not had an offer from CU, I believe, not too long after Coach Prime took over the program, but they hadn't reached out. So his recruiting has been wishy-washy. So Michigan are the favorites still today. They were the favorites going into the fall, because he's a junior, he's a 25, and it seems like Michigan is the favorite. However, it appears that Bryce and family paid attention to that first game against TCU and were impressed by the offense of CU. And as you probably read, contact was established with the program, direct contact with Coach Prime.
Oh
And there
my
is
gosh.
genuine interest on both sides at this time. So, as you can see, probably now, CU is in his top four. And it went from nothing, no, just the offer, no contact really, not paying him attention. It was pretty much almost a foregone conclusion that he was going to either choose Michigan or LSU. He's been at LSU about 3 times as well. Earlier on in his recruitment process, OSU, Ohio State, was in the running. Even before Michigan, Michigan State was in the running, but they've kind of faded. He did take a visit over the summer to USC as well, but it appears that it's down to Michigan, LSU, CU is making a push, obviously, and Alabama is making a late
Wow.
push as well.
Okay. Wow. That is amazing context, and it's great to know that we have an insider right there where it's all happening for this fall.
Right here,
So,
right now.
correct me. I want to make sure I'm understanding right. Did did the Underwood family contact Colorado this week, or was it Colorado reaching out again after the win just to see like, hey, what's the temperature in the room type of thing? Do you know?
I think it was a temperature in the room type of thing. I think, but what it was is it was kind of like a meet in the middle because I believe that the Underwood family wanted to express their interest in the program and schedule a visit.
Wow.
So, in making that communication and contact, the Underwood family was able to speak directly to Coach Prime
Wow.
and had a
Wow.
conversation and establish that visitation for the USC game. So they will be in Boulder for the USC game.
Oh.
And, I expect them to put the full court press to try to get a commitment. Now, he does have a commitment date set for January 9th,
Okay.
2024. So, but who knows? If you go back to the other Michigan recruit who committed a couple months ago, Brandon Davis Swain,
Yeah.
he indicated that he was going to commit a month after he did, but he came to see you on a visit and committed the very next day. So you never know what can happen when Coach Prime is batting close up when it comes to these visitations. And Brendan Davis Swain has also reached out to Bryce Underwood via Twitter. So there is pressure for him to come in, and I'm quite sure Winston Watkins, the other 25 receiver we have, has reached out as well. So they're going to put the heat on the full court press to land Bryce Underwood, but we'll see what happens because just as the Buffs are interested, he's going to still have that interest from Alabama, from LSU, and from his own home school here in Michigan. So,
man, yeah. Who would have thought, man, just a year ago now all this is transpiring, and man, like I think that was been something I've been wondering. It was just, for me, I just felt like it was a matter of time, like when some of these top end guys on offense or like at the quarterback position specifically was going to start. But man, like you could not deny that performance on Saturday.
Absolutely.
How fun. And then like when I was looking at his huddle tape earlier this morning, like the fact that he can place the ball how he does at 16 years old, it is like, I bet he's probably one of those guys that you would assume that could come in and immediately start as a true freshman, which would just be insane. What talk to me about his game or things that you're just really impressed about with. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, sure. I totally agree, David. I think he's a day one starter. So if you look at we had a quarterback that came out of Michigan last year, Dante Moore, who originally committed to the Oregon Ducks, and then he flipped his commitment to UCLA. And I think that I don't think he started the first game, but I think he did play. So he probably will be entrenched as a starter going forward. And Bryce Underwood has more upside than Dante Moore. And so, Dante Moore, that was his strength, ball placement. He wasn't the athlete that Bryce Underwood is, but he definitely had the ball placement skills, and Bryce Underwood has that, as well as the athletic ability to pull it down and run if need be. So I think I saw some comparisons out there to maybe like an Anthony Richardson with more ball placement and accuracy, more of a quarterback, but with the athletic ability of an Anthony Richardson. So, that would definitely be a day one starter. I see him taking the realms, from Shedeur after Shedeur leaves the program, compared to the other quarterbacks that are on the roster right now. I think he definitely has, day one starter potential over Staub, over Wiseman, over Gavin Cole, and even over Danny O'Neal, who we have coming in 24. So that's what I would say. He's looking good if they are able to land him. But, there are other quarterbacks that are interested as well. So we did also get a visitation locked in from Antoine Hill, I believe, from Georgia. He's a 4-star QB.
Yes, I remember seeing that. It's not.
I think he maybe even come to the same game. I think I read that he's going to come to the USC game as well. I haven't seen his tape yet, but he is a 4-star, so that'd be a good look if we were able to get him. And then there's another quarterback that visited, I believe, in the underclassmen, who's going to come back. I just saw on Twitter today. So, like you mentioned, that the win over TCU and the fashion they won in is going to definitely be monumental in getting recruits to show interest in the program going forward.
Oh, man. I love to hear that, man. And I think like one thing, like what you were just hitting on too, is like, of course I want the quarterback room stacked. I would love to, eventually see the school become like, Alabama or Ohio State is, where it can just kind of be that next man up. But it would be nice to get a guy. I mean, already Buff Since Birth brought this up. Bryce is already 6'3.5" at 16 years old. Could he be 6'7" by the time he's entering college?
He's growing. He may top out at about 6'4", 6'5". I don't think he's going to grow too much more, but we'll take it because he's going to have that athletic ability and continue to have that touch. That's something that if you have at this age, it doesn't go away. So, and if you don't have it, it's hard to develop. that's something that we've noticed that's been a constant with Shador. Shador has had touch and been like a packet passer with the ability to pull it down and run if need be his entire career. Going back to his high school days, that's something he's honed and perfected and stayed with him no matter whether or not his body type or size changed. So I think that'll be the same case with Bryce Underwood as well, which is why I'm hoping that CU can put close the deal when he comes to visit for USC and get a commitment.
Yeah,
and I'll say that as a Michigan resident, as a Michigan fan, but I want him to go to CU. I'd rather him go to CU because I'll tell you a story about his Michigan recruitment, something as you will only know locally here. So
let's go.
Michigan, I forgot the name, but they just changed offensive coordinators.
Okay.
They have a new offensive coordinator, and the offensive coordinator they had last year when Bryce Underwood was a freshman didn't pay him any attention at all. Didn't send an offer, was kind of blowing him off, and he was killing it as a freshman. It was just like, come on, guy, you need to offer him and get on him. This guy's he's going to be good. The coordinator they had didn't pay him any mind, any attention, and wound up getting ran out of the program for some other stupid stuff that he was doing on the side. So now they have a new offensive coordinator, new quarterbacks coach, and that's one of the first things he did. He extended Bryce Underwood an offer. He's calling him. He's hitting him up. He's inviting him to 7-on-7. So that's what got Michigan in the picture to be the favorite this year, because last season he was going to Ohio State for visits. He was looking at Michigan State. Wow. He was looking at USC because Michigan, in his own backyard, 20 miles away from where he plays, did not extend an offer because of the offensive coordinator was wacky. And that's honestly why Dante Moore left the state of Michigan to originally commit to Oregon and then later to UCLA. And then CJ Carr, who is Lloyd Carr's grandson, committed to Notre Dame because this wacky offensive coordinator that Michigan had didn't keep quarterbacks in his home state. So
good Lord.
It's not, even though they're on track right now, and I will still say that they're the front runner because now the staff seems to be, giving him his just due and his attention. As you can see, it takes one phone call, and now CU is out of nowhere is in contention to land him. And we all know if Coach Prime, you put Coach Prime up against any other recruiter, any other head coach in the country, my money's on Coach Prime to close the deal and get him into Boulder. So. But that's a little bit of background on
wow.
How the other recruiters and staffs have dropped the ball on this 5-star quarterback. So don't be surprised if he ends up in Boulder at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would just be thrilled, especially if he's being sold as kind of, that heir apparent.
Yeah.
Just the way, man, like that from such a young age, the fact that he's got all this speed and athleticism, but he still keeps his eyes downfield and looks to pass first. I mean, you don't have to coach that out of him. He's already doing it. And so impressive looking at, the 8-9 minutes of, of the highlights he put together from his season last year. And man, I think that would just be perfect because it's, how could you say no? How could you say no? If the NIL money is around the same, and all that. I mean, I think our collectives will be getting there. The advertising opportunities, will be there. Heck, we might even see Shiloh in here, doing a thing for South Park here, and just a few weeks doing the Coach Prime voice. I mean, that would just be incredible. And yeah, I really hope we roll out the red carpet for him and just, really make him feel the love and feel at home, feel this family type atmosphere, man. That's really cool to see. Do you think Michigan or do you got any idea? Because I don't have an idea at all. We heard about what happened with, sorry, dude, all the phones I'm just getting hit up all day, every day today. Oh my God. Okay. I'm chilling out. Do you have any idea of what kind of NIL money is being offered to these quarterbacks? I mean, we heard what happened with, Rashada in Florida, but
Yep.
I mean, who knows if that was true or not, or like if those figures are true? Because if I don't know, if you're paying a guy who hasn't stepped on campus yet, close or half as much as what the football coach is making,
Yeah.
I don't know. But what's
It's
your
hard to
kind
turn
of
that
read
down.
on this whole space?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to turn that down, and I will say, depending on the school, the NIL money is real. So we
Okay.
know from what Coach Prime has said that Travis Hunter, in between the time coming from Jackson State to Colorado, that little 3 week or however long that time period gap, that they tried to take him, and they offered a bag, according to Coach Prime, $1.5 million. So depending on the school, the NIL money is a real deal, and it's definitely going to play a factor in all recruits, all 5-star recruits going forward. And it's just going to be a matter of that recruit having a strong support system behind them and guidance and having belief and faith in the program and what they're going to become in the future to overcome that, because that's a lot of money to turn down, and these kids come from nothing. These kids have nothing to start with, and that's their goal, is to get money. They want to play the game to make money, secure the bag, so the kids say, and take care of their families and help mom out and everything like that. So that is real. Now, I will say, as far as Michigan is concerned, they have been late, reluctant to get in on the NIL from all facets, all their sports. So I wouldn't think that would be that much of a compelling factor to stay home. They just started getting their athletes into NIL maybe in the last year or so. So it does play a factor a bit, but they're not one of the schools out there throwing $1 million and $2.5 million out to the athletes to come play for Michigan. So that hasn't happened yet. Not to say that they won't try to do it with Bryce Underwood, because he's a generational talent, and I definitely think he's a future pro, but I don't think that they're quite there yet. And evident of that is if you look at their basketball team, their center just transferred to Kansas, and he said the reason why he transferred was due to NIL and lack thereof at Michigan. So
wow, that is so
granted, that's a different sport, but yeah, it's still not a big, it still hasn't caught on that much at University of Michigan. So that would definitely bode well for CU to come in and, like, again, I put my money on Coach Prime versus any recruiter or head coach in the country to pitch, give them the pitch. This is what we're after right here. We're after a national title, and you should be chasing NFL as opposed to the NIL if you want to come here to Boulder and have a successful career and succeed this quarterback right here, my son. So,
man, I would love to see it. And that's great to know that, like, we're not the last, to the party with the NIL. That's really good to know. And yeah, I'm fascinated to see kind of what more opportunities we see come for our players right now as as Coach Prime and the rest of the team are building this thing. I'm curious, from your end, living in Michigan, is there Coach Prime hype, out where you're living? Like, how is that whole thing around Michigan fans?
That's a great question, David. So I will say, let me go to the chat right here. Someone posted, Letitia Johnson posted the name of the coach, Matt Weiss. Matt Weiss was the coach at Michigan. Grade A POS, because he didn't just overlooked Bryce Underwood and a lot of other quarterbacks that he let get away from the state, and I'm glad he's out of the program. But anyway, back to your question. The Coach Prime hype here in Michigan, here in Detroit area, I would say it's moderate. Depends on who you talk to, depends on where you go. It isn't as big as obviously it is, in Boulder, as it probably is in the southern states, Texas and Florida, where Coach Prime resonates a little more from his playing days, but it is big depending on who you ask. So I'll give you a story on how big it is. A story from my personal experience. So I went out. I have some CU merch. I go outside. I'm just cut my grass, and I have a neighbor that used to play football for Vanderbilt.
Okay.
So he comes over and he sees me cutting grass. He waves me down, flags me down. He's like, "Hey, what you doing with that CU stuff on, man? Did you go to CU?" I'm like, "No, I didn't go to CU, but I'm a Coach Prime fan." He's, "Oh man, you Coach Prime, blah 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 blah." So he started, rambling, and he's like, "Yeah, he's cool, but he gave his take on it. And he actually said that Rick George was his AD while he was playing at Vanderbilt." So I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Huh.
So he gave his take on Coach Prime, and he had his opinion like, "Oh yeah, he's cool, but blah 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 blah." And he's like, "I know some people on the staff." So he pulls out his phone just to prove it to me, and he calls David Kelly right there in front of me, who's Coach Prime's chief of staff. And we just started talking to David Kelly on the phone right there, and it was just amazing just to hear his voice, because I hear his voice from the well-off videos and things like that. So yeah, we're talking right there to David Kelly, and he's like, "Yeah." So after we conversed with him for a few minutes, and hang up the phone, he's like, "Yeah, see, I told you, I know all about Coach Prime and the staff and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's crazy." It was just it was right before the TCU game, like maybe 2 or 3 days before. And yeah, so there's connections here, and some people have the hype, but others don't, because again, remember, in my immediate area, this is a Michigan.
Yeah.
This is a University of Michigan, centric state for the most part. We have some. It seems like if by default, even if you don't go to college, by default, it seems like most of the fans here in the state are University of Michigan fans. That's just where they resonate. You have some Michigan State fans the closer you get to East Lansing and the Lansing area, but typically by default, there's University of Michigan, and then everything else is just if you have friends that go there, if you have friends that play there. But I will say that it is, CU and Coach Prime and the movement is gaining traction, even up here in the Midwest.
Man, yeah, I love to see that, man. And I don't know if you knew this, but I grew up like about an hour north of Chicago until I moved down to Texas. So yeah, totally familiar with like the Big Ten fanhood culture. Obviously, not a ton of Northwestern fans, but I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, those are the big ones. Wisconsin, just a half hour from the border. But yeah, it can be tough to turn down those blue blood schools that you're so close to, within a few hours drive from. And yeah, it speaks volumes. Holy moly. I'm going to open up my windows real quick, but I got a question for you, Laurence Collins here, that Nam Ka Lao brought up. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. How does reclassify work in college football? But let's talk about it through the lens of Bryce Underwood. I'll be listening, but is there a chance that he could reclassify and get a year behind Shedeur?
That's always a chance. These kids take these classes online, and they go year round to do just that. So there's always a chance. I haven't heard any reclassification talk of Bryce Underwood yet. Not to say that it can't happen and it won't happen, but I haven't heard that yet, that's the route he's going. As far as I know, he's still aiming to come out in the class of 25, but you never know.
Man, yeah, it would be really cool to see. And okay, I got a random question to ask you, man. Is Ryan Day without a top end quarterback just Charlie Weiss? Like, is that, how do you feel about Ohio State?
Oh man, so yeah, I don't think McCord is a top end quarterback. I do think he is. I think Ohio State is without a top end quarterback, and that's gonna be to their detriment as they go into Big Ten play and in the college football season altogether. I don't think they're gonna take full advantage of the receiver core they have, which is one of the best in the nation. So that's a shame for Marvin Harrison Jr. he's definitely a stud, probably a top 5 NFL pick. But as you can see from the first game, he only had 2 catches for maybe 18 yards or so, or something like that. And that wasn't his fault. That's a shame because they don't have a quarterback to get him the ball. So, I definitely don't think that they're going to beat Michigan. I think they may even lose 2 or 3 times this year.
Okay.
But they don't have that top end quarterback like they've had the last 3 to 4 years or so.
Yeah. And as a Michigan fan, how are you feeling about this year? That impressive or that performance on Sunday from Florida State was really impressive. But yeah, how do you feel about your odds in finally getting the Natty this year? And who do you think are like the biggest threats to y'all? I'm really curious.
Biggest threats. That's a great question. So I do think that Florida State is going to be a force to reckon with this year. I know that's not the popular pick, particularly for Buff fans, but I think Florida State will be there at the end of the year, especially due to the schedule that they have. As far as Michigan is concerned, I think they'll run the table. I don't see a reason why they should lose a game this year. Their biggest question mark, in my opinion, is going to be their quarterback play. I am not sold.
Really?
JJ McCarthy.
Say that again? I'm sorry, you were breaking up for me. You're not sold.
I am not sold on JJ McCarthy. I do not think he's a top end quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback.
Hell yeah.
Than JJ McCarthy. So
give me the rundown. Give me the scouting report.
So if you look at, he hasn't won a game for Michigan yet, and he's a junior. The games that Michigan has won has been on their run game. He's made throws to receivers, but JJ McCarthy himself has not won a game for Michigan. And until that happens, I don't, when it comes down to Michigan getting to the playoff, I don't think they'll, beat one of whoever they have to face whatever team they face, whatever one of the 3 teams that make it to the playoff with them, because I think they will make it to the playoff. I don't think they'll win. I think they'll lose just like they did last year to TCU, because JJ McCarthy and his inability to win a game for him, a big game for him at that, that matter. So I think Florida State will be there. Georgia, the SEC teams, of course, you got Georgia, your usual suspects. Georgia, Alabama will be there at the end of the year. One of the 2 will probably make it. And then, Dark Horse is going to be one of these Pac-12 teams as the 4th team. And hell, let's go for CU getting that 4th spot. Why not?
Let's do it, man.
One thing I will say, David, I do think that the other top teams in the pack are overrated. I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
Okay.
So, and I think that will be exposed when they match up against CU. So we start to see that exposure in a couple weeks in Eugene.
Man, I didn't care about that game that much, coming into the year, but I think after I've seen more of why am I blanking on his name? The head coach. Come on. Help me out, y'all. Oregon head coach.
Vanderbilt or something like that. Vanderbilt.
No. Venables is Oklahoma. Why am I?
Yeah, he is.
Anyways, it doesn't even matter. Seeing his comments about CU leaving the conference, and everybody has this conspiracy theory. It seems that he's that anonymous coach that was trashing Coach Prime, saying that this is going to be a disaster type of thing, and it would mean a lot to go in there into Eugene and get that upset. And I think the biggest thing right now is, man, if we can truly, score at will, just like we did last week moving forward, I think the biggest thing is just, can our defense wrap up tackles? There are a lot of tackles that we let get away on Saturday, but I can see scenarios now, man, in which we can win every matchup, which Dan Lanning, thank you, Lolita. I appreciate that.
Dan Lanning, that's right.
Yeah. it would mean a lot to get that win. Definitely after TCU, I feel much better about this matchup with USC. Finally, getting to 1-16 against them would be freaking amazing. Kicking their butt before we send them, to get their butt kicked in the Big Ten, right? With that travel, it would just mean a lot. But yeah. How do you feel like we stack up right now to those teams? Do you think our defense, can get it together? What are you expecting, from our defense this week moving forward?
I think our defense will gain its confidence in a couple days against Nebraska. For the most part, what we've seen from Nebraska is that they're one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put 8 in the box and force Jeff Sims to actually be a quarterback, he's going to turn the ball over. And that's, those turnovers are only going to give our defense confidence going forward to close out this game. And I actually predict a CU blowout against
let's go, man.
Nebraska. And then next week, being Folsom against Colorado State, another blowout, which will give the defense confidence, will give the offensive line confidence as well to establish the run. And I think that'll set up, a confident 3-0 CU team to go to Eugene and take care of business. So one thing that I think will be the deciding factor up in Eugene versus Oregon and, back in Folsom against USC after that Eugene game is the pace of the offense.
Yeah.
I think that, defense aside, whether or not the defense continues to give up chunk plays and yardage, I think that offense, David, is going to be, a pace setter, like a pace car, trying to keep up with a pace car in a race. Like they're going to spot the defense 14 points going forward, because that offense is only going to get better and better. And if the defense, so let's say if the defense takes the field first, like they did against TCU, and they get a quick 3-and-out, offense takes the field, score 7-0. I think that's going to be a trend going forward that for the most part, CU is going to be a front runner in the majority of their games, including against these, powerhouses, and the other teams are going to have to play catch up. So it's going to be a matter of just our defense not necessarily stop giving up all those yards, but just making a play here and there. And if they make a play here and there to stop these long drives, like a Trevor Woods interception, like a Travis Hunter interception, a fumble, the defensive line causing a fumble, the linebackers causing a fumble recovery, the offense is going to get that ball and score. So as long as the defense is able to make a play, a momentary play here and there to stop these long drives, and our offense is going to be okay. We'll take care of it. Our offense will pick the ball up and score. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor against Oregon, against USC, against Oregon State, and Utah at the end of the year. And I don't think that's going to be surmountable from these teams to overcome because they don't have the powerhouse offenses that we have. You can make the argument for USC, but USC is putting up numbers against cupcakes. Come on now. San Jose State, they haven't proven themselves yet to be the power team. The last time they played a ranked opponent, they lost.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind. The last time USC played a ranked opponent, they lost. Even with that high-power, explosive offense, people could say, "Oh, Caleb Williams was injured. He was hurt." Caleb Williams had a masterful game. He had a good game that game, but he didn't have his legs. He didn't really utilize his legs that game. But case in point, the last time they played a viable opponent, they lost. So I'm not giving USC any credit for beating up on San Jose State.
Man,
and they left up all these, cupcake games, victories, and things like that. So that's what I think. That's what I forecast that the offense is gonna be the powerhouse and overcome some of the defensive deficiencies.
Man, I really do love that perspective because you're totally right. I mean, that game probably could have. I mean, who knows what happens, but we do know that against TCU, we came out, took that lead, and that really put TCU on their heels, man. And it was a gut punch from the start. After what everybody was saying about how we were going to get whooped, and I think you're right. I don't know how you stop this offense right now. Because again, you saw the issues that TCU even had just matching up against our receivers, man. Like you can play some press on us. You can play some press on us, but if you do that, we're going to blow by you. Shador can, flutter a beautiful pass over, over the shoulder to where only the receiver can get it, like we saw with Xavier Weaver, and Travis Hunter dropped one, but just beautiful stuff. And or if you give us 8-10 yards of cushion, we'll just take that quick passing game. Every time. It's really just taking what the defense is given to you. But I think you're right, man. Like, especially with the receiving threat that we have, Dylan Edwards, we're going to see the full complementary stable of backs here in the future weeks. But yeah, how do you stop an offense like this? What would you be trying to do, Laurence?
Oh man, zone, I guess. So I think that when we play, they're going to try zone this, against Nebraska, and they just don't have the secondary to keep up. And who does? That's why I think we can go 4 or 5 receiver deep, 6 or 7 even for that matter. Who can keep up with the top 6 or 7 receiving threats that CU has? No one in the nation, not even a USC or Oregon or Utah for that matter. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor. It's going to be up to our offense to spot the defense points so that they can play from ahead in the majority of the games, if not all of the games going forward. And I don't think, there's going to be an answer for that from anyone in the country. So, if I were a defensive coordinator, I would say, hey, I'll have to go in nickel and dime most of the game. And then that'll expose me for the run. But if I'm at that point, I'm picking my poison just off the first game and hope that they're not able to establish the run. So that's what I would do is go maybe in a similar defense that CU runs, a 4-2-5, and pray that the run game is off that game. And then also that my offense is clicking enough to keep up with theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the only way, at least like when you're looking at Brady or Manning, like these types of just, technicians behind center, really it's just you got to get pressure up the middle quick, to make them uncomfortable. That's really the only way to do it. Like our offense is going to definitely help out our defense moving forward. I got just actually a few minutes before I got to wrap this up. We got another person in here. We'll bring you on in just a second, DJ Promo. But I got an interview. Jason Watkins is having me on his show again. He does a bunch of Big 12 stuff and is a big Coach Prime fan. So I'm going on his show at around 7:30, which will be fun. So we'll wrap this up in a few minutes. But before we get to DJ Promo, Laurence, man, come on here more, man. This was awesome. Feel free to slide into my DMs or whatever. Would love to have you on the show more regularly because you know your stuff. So please reach out to me on Twitter. DJ Promo, Ed Foster, what is going on? Thanks for joining the Collins Show, man.
Yes, sir. What's up, fellas?
Man, we're doing great. What's on your mind? Give us the scoop.
Well, I just had to pop in on you. Remember me? I hit your timeline a couple weeks ago, and basically said I believe this team can win the national championship this year.
Yes, I remember.
So I just wanted to pop in and just now people see, man. I mean, these guys have 4 legitimate number 1 wide receivers.
Yes,
like number 1.
Yeah,
I don't see one secondary that has 4 DBs that can slow this offense down, man. And the running game ain't even got started yet.
Not yet.
And I'm not even worried about the defense because they're gonna get better.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we haven't even seen the linebacker from Alabama, the linebacker from Florida State.
Mm-mm.
Like, there's certain guys we haven't even seen yet because they're still injured.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Gant's still out. Yeah, you're totally right. The only
so
secondary that might be able to match up with us is our own eventually.
exactly. Well, see, I'm gonna tell you where I think people were getting confused and conflicted because they were seeing these receivers torch this defense, right? On the video. So they're saying, oh, their secondary suck. No, the receivers are just that good. Think about it. Javon Antonio ain't even got off yet. 6'4", 215, running 4.3. This might be his game.
So, Lord, let it be, man. I would love that.
So I'm saying pick your poison, man. I just think the way he constructed this team, man, it's like they have the talent to win now. If they keep playing the way they're playing, they can win, man.
Oh,
They can
man,
win.
you're right.
Sky's the limit.
I hope you put a bet on them to win the national championship. Did you do that?
You know I did. I had to back it up. I had to back it up, baby.
That
makes sense. The coaching, bro. They got the best coaching staff in America. They outcoached TCU. I don't know why TCU didn't run the ball. The interception he threw to Travis Hunter, 3rd and 1. Why don't you run the ball, bro? They ain't stop your running game all. They outcoached them. So they got great coaching behind these great athletes, man. I just can't wait. I'm just trying to be patient. The Oregon game, USC, I just can't wait to put my chest out, bro, because I'm like, bro, because I watched USC game, both games. I'm like, they got some of the same issues that you're saying about us. Offensive line didn't look all that good. Dude, San Jose State was getting pressure on their quarterback. I'm like, bro, come on.
They were.
I'm telling you.
They were.
And their wide receiver scored 3 touchdowns against USC. We got 4 receivers, bro. They got 1 receiver you couldn't stop. So I'm like, hey, I can't wait, bro.
Oh my gosh. What are the odds? What are the betting odds? Or, do you know if it's like, does it 20x your bet or something like that, on the national championship?
It kind of changed because I know it was really high if you did it during the spring. Because I was listening to somebody's podcast and the guy was telling me how much he could win and he only put $50 on. I was like, dang. But in Georgia, we can't bet. So I drive trucks, so I was trying to wait till I get to a state where I could place a bet. Man, but the odds have changed, especially after that TCU game. But you still can win a lot. But so many people have went in there and placed the bet on TCU. I mean, Colorado winning that championship. So I don't know. I don't know what it is right now.
Oh my gosh!
Plus
what kind of odds do you got, Laurence?
I got it. I got it on it. So right after we both bet, remember we were watching the TCU game. We both won. But I did that night. I went and I put everything on CU. So I did. I did the national title.
Right. The Pac-12.
Put it this way: if CU wins the national title and Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy and CU wins the Pac-12 title, I'll have like $125,000.
Oh my God.
So I went all in on CU.
Yeah.
Now, and most of that, the majority of that is for the national title because I think I got in on the national title at plus 30,000.
Oh, that is insane.
Yeah. And it's dropping. It's dropping. Like you said, DJ Promo is dropping by the day. So I think it may be down to like maybe 15 or so thousand now. But if all 3 of those things happen, that's $125,000 for me. And even if so if Travis wins the Heisman and nothing else happens, I still win like $20,000.
Yeah.
So that's my safest bet right there. I got like plus $20,000 if Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. Which why would he not? He's the only one playing both ways, and he's going to continue to do that the entire season, and he's going to continue to produce the entire season as well. So
and he won't drop them 2 touchdowns again.
No, he won't. That won't happen again. That won't happen. He won't drop any more interceptions again either.
Oh, dude, you see that?
Yeah, he won't drop any more.
That's not gonna happen again. Oh no,
not again.
He's beating himself up.
Man, oh man. Well, definitely, man. If they get to that national championship, man, we should feel good about buying those tickets on credit, right? So,
hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's very possible, bro. Just look at the landscape. Georgia, they quarterback iffy. Alabama, quarterback iffy. Like, there's not one team. I mean, Florida State looked like they, and Utah, the only two teams that really look like their offensive defense is like ready right now. The only two teams that I've seen. So I think the landscape is wide open. That's why I feel like Colorado got a chance, man.
It is.
Because if
wide open.
Because if they get ahead, you can't run the ball on them if they get ahead by 2-3 touchdowns.
See, that's what I said, David. I think their offense is going to spark them and is going to help the defense going forward because the defense is going to be playing from ahead the majority of the time because they don't. There isn't a defense out there, particularly in the Pac-12, that can hang with them, especially not USC. Yeah. USC is going to come to Boulder and they're going to get hit in the mouth and they're going to say, "Oh shit, we're down 14-0. What are we going to do?" And that's going to force Caleb Williams to have to make a play. And as soon as he slip up, you're gonna see Travis Hunter lurking. Yep, and he's going to make a play, and that's going to be it. So,
man,
but not only that, check this out. You know what Prime really wants to do, but he's trying to be patient. He's waiting for Cromartie to get ready. Ooh, and I think he's almost there. He's almost there. Because remember the last practice before TCU, he picked Shedeur off in the end zone.
He did.
Yeah.
Because he wants to play lockdown man-to-man defense so he can bring that safety down to the box. And that's when you're going to start seeing them blitz packages. Because he can trust everybody man-to-man across the board.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's coming. He might be saving that for Oregon and USC.
Man, it's coming, man. It's coming, man. You guys got me hyped. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to get out of here. I got to hop over to this.
Oh, yeah. Hey, y'all be safe, man.
But
I just wanted to stop in and say, hey, man, what's up, man? I support y'all. Hey,
man, you guys are awesome. Hit me up on Twitter. Would love to, of course, still be talking college football with you guys moving forward. Absolutely. So that's what we try and do here. So appreciate y'all. I'll get going. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and Sco Buffs.
Yes, sir. Y'all be safe.
Thanks, y'all.
Yes, sir. Sco Buffs.